From Screen Junkies Studios in the heart of Los Angeles, this is Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Now your host, Andy Signore.
Greetings, Screen Junkies, and welcome to Mundy Mania here on Movie Fights. This is going to be epic. I'm actually I have no idea what's going to happen here. I don't have a favorite in my head. It's anybody's game. Three strong competitors. Well, it's gonna be interesting. Any three of these could take it. So welcome to the show. We have some awesome topics today, including, will Jesse Eisenberg be a good Lex Luthor? We finally saw him bald, so we thought it's a good topic to talk about him as Lex Luthor. Mission Impossible trailer dropped. We also have Mission Impossible versus the Fast and the Furious, best action franchise. I wonder where Nick will stand on that one, as well as best movie cameo in honor of the Entourage movie and their amazing list of cameos at the end. So tons of fun stuff. As always, don't forget, if you don't like a fight, don't skip it. Don't leave. You can skip it and go to the next fight by clicking Pick Your Fight on the bottom right corner on YouTube, and you'll have plenty more options and see all the stuff we're doing. And as always, the last fight is a cue for this week's Honest Trailer, and this one's a fun one, so stay tuned. You'll want to hear what that is. All right, now, this is Mundy Mania. I want to thank, we have a special graphic made just for this occasion, thanks to Wave, our Finland friend, our fan in Finland, Ira. The Mundy Mania graphic, do we have that? Oh my God, look at that, guys.
That is awesome.
Custom made for you three. Kudos, Ira. Wow, fantastic. We will link you on Twitter.
I look like an anime bad guy.
Alicia's got a real snarl.
You guys, the Red Fury was showing. So you've inspired the fans. This is epic. This is a big day. Let's meet our fighters.
Today's fighters are Nick Mundy, Screen Junkies resident fixer. 3 wins, 3 losses. Alicia Malone, co-host of Profiles and AMC Rewind. 2 wins, 1 loss. Roger Barr, founder of iMockery. 1 win, 4 losses.
4 losses.
Yep. Oh, wow. And let's not forget on the Dan Cam to keep you all fact-checked and proper, it's Dan Murrell.
How's it going, guys?
It's going well, Dan.
I'm going to be fighting one of these 3.
That's right.
You are. Let's explain
Eventually.
that.
Yeah.
The winner of this round will take on Spencer against Dan, and then it'll be a fantastic brawl for the ages. It won't be next week. We will tell you about next week's show at the end of today's episode, but get ready because the winner of today will go for that belt, and finally, we may crown a new champion. I don't know, Dan, are you feeling nervous?
Yes.
Yeah.
You should be. This has been a tough bracket.
Yeah.
He's been flop sweating for 6 weeks.
Before we get to the show, I just want to
worked hard to
remind
get here.
everybody, if you're a lot of people have been asking, we have a new iTunes feed, new RSS feed. Please make sure you click the description on YouTube. You'll find the new one. Please go subscribe, rate, and comment. If you've already done it, go comment again. Go rate again. If you haven't done it yet, please go make sure you subscribe and support us there because we're doing really well on iTunes and we want to keep the show going.
Yes.
So please, thank you for your support. All right, let's start this fight in the great words of so many amazing people.
Now let's do this!
This is where we fight!
Fight! Fight!
Wow, round 1. So we got our first look at Jesse Eisenberg officially as Lex Luthor with the bald head. They've been hiding it. We know he's been doing it, but it just brings up the fantastic thing a fantastic point that we should just bring up, which is fight number 1. Ben Zeiser on Twitter asked, "What do we think of Jesse as Lex? Do we think Jesse Eisenberg will make a good Lex Luthor?" Now, I know we don't have footage. We're basing it not just on the footage, but Jesse Eisenberg in general. Do we think he will make a good Lex Luthor? And we're going to start with you, Alicia.
I'm really excited to see Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. From what we've seen so far, which is just that picture, he does look menacing, he does look mean. Zack Snyder has talked briefly about the character, saying that this is going to be unlike any other Lex we've seen on screen. So forget Gene Hackman, forget Kevin Spacey, forget any ideas of a Heisenberg sort of inspired Lex Luthor. This will be something different completely. I think they'll update him for modern times, and he'll be someone that is different to the Marvel villains in that he won't be physically imposing, but he will be extremely intelligent and able to pull the strings maybe behind the scenes. Now, Jesse Eisenberg
You never said it was going to be good, though.
a great, no,
You never said it was gonna be good.
I'm getting
Okay.
to it. Jesse Eisenberg is a fantastic actor, and this is why I think he could make a really great Lex Luthor, because we've seen him play this kind of dichotomy of characters before. Zack Snyder said that this Lex Luthor is going to be a different person publicly than he is in his private life, And if you want to look at Jesse Eisenberg not being the bumbly, awkward guy that we've seen before, you just need to look at The Double. The Double was a brilliant film where he played two sides of the one character. One was bumbling, awkward. The other, charismatic, cool, confident, and a little bit evil. We also saw him be genius with a touch of evil in The Social Network, and also be charismatic like a villain needs to be in Now You See Me. So all that combined makes me really, really excited to see Jesse Eisenberg take on Lex Luthor.
Nick has been laughing at you, but Nick, please calm. Keep it yourself. You'll get your turn. Roger Barr of iMockery. What do you think, man? Good choice or bad choice?
I do not like him as Lex Luthor. First off, we know what he's going to be like. He's going to be the same neurotic character he's always been in, just like The Social Network. The guy's never really displayed that much in terms of acting range. I'm sorry, he hasn't. He can play kind of cool and kind of awkward and stuff. It's always the same thing. Just like we saw him in Zombieland and stuff. He's going to be that same neurotic kind of guy. He'll have a little bit more evil going behind him and all, but that's about it. What's worse, though, is he doesn't look the age of Lex Luthor. That is my biggest problem with it. Henry Cavill and Jesse Eisenberg are the exact same age. They're 31 years old, yet Henry looks like he's 40 and Jesse looks like he's a teenager. And now with his head shaved, he looks like a teenager in chemotherapy. I'm sorry, but that does not work for me. It doesn't work. And we really can't go off of a black and white image to know exactly what Lex Luthor's going to look like completely with the suit or whatever he's doing, but I mean, we know he's going to look like Jesse Eisenberg with a shaved head, and that's just, I'm sorry, he has not proved himself, and I would much rather see somebody else perform the role of Lex Luthor, and he cannot hold a candle to Gene Hackman's performance or Kevin Spacey, and I'm fine with them taking Lex Luthor in a different direction, but I mean, Gene Hackman, come on, that is the that he set the bar as far as Lex Luthor goes.
Very disparaging words. Yeah, Nick, where's your stance?
I hate this to my very core, but I'm gonna agree with Roger to a lot of. It sickens me, but here we are in this world. Superman is a fantastic being. Powers. He's like a messiah character. He is the person to save humanity. To be a compelling villain, you need the opposite of Superman. You need someone with enough charisma, enough guile, enough wit, enough just brilliant personality to be able to convince people, hey, you know that guy saving you? You know the guy stopping floods? You know the guy reversing time? He's a dick because I'm really good at convincing people with my personality and magnetism, I can't talk, that he's wrong. And that's got to be that's the best Lex Luthor. I don't care about age. I don't care about how he looks. He just needs a magnetic personality. And I'm sorry, but Eisenberg, while he's great at playing the walking hoodie, that's what he does in every movie. You brought up The Double. They put sunglasses on him and clothes that actually fit, and that was the big change.
He still wasn't likable.
And in the Magic movie, they couldn't even make
Charismatic.
They couldn't even make him look charismatic in the Magic movie. He was the worst part of that. That should have been Woody Harrelson's movie. It should have been Woody Harrelson in this movie. That would have been a much better person. He's much more charismatic, much more brilliant. I mean, there's plenty of people to do it. I get that he might fit this movie, like the Eisenberg, like the Zuckerberg, quiet kind of guy, but menacing. And it's probably going to fit this movie. That doesn't make it good. That doesn't make it good. He needs to have something to draw people away from the guy flying in the blue and red cape, to be able to draw people in, and I don't think Eisenberg has that in him whatsoever.
Just look at his face. There's nothing menacing about it. There's
That
nothing
picture
that
is
threatens
menacing.
Superman.
He's looking right down the camera, and he doesn't
But
look
he's
like a
menacing-
bumbling, awkward guy at all.
He's menacing and no one went to prom with me, now everyone's gonna pay.
Which is Lex Luthor. He's an outsider,
Except-
and he'll be getting out for revenge. And he's the opposite to Superman. So he's someone who can
he's
be
like
the
a-
He should be-
genius,
he should be the
the
opposite.
evil genius behind the scenes.
But he needs to be a politician, and he needs to be able to get people to gravitate to him. And
I think he's able to pull the strings.
you just
and
killed the poster.
convince-
You just killed the poster.
Oh, I didn't mean to do
That's
that.
not her fault. That's
I think he's
quality
someone who
debate.
could-
That poster falling down is about as much damage as I could see Eisenberg ever doing.
No, the damage.
The real villains these days are the villains behind a computer, and he could pull that off completely if that's the direction they go.
Behind a computer, is that going to be an
Do we,
exciting foe for
do we want
Superman?
hackers versus Superman?
No.
I
Yeah.
mean,
He could.
I'd rather watch Hackers.
Change perspective of the people of Metropolis quite easily.
Yeah, so I'm listening. There's a great back and forth, but yeah, tell me more about how do you envision him playing against?
I think they will go for a modern villain, and they'll go for a modern villain who is someone like a politician. Like you said, he can be charismatic. I disagree with you. I think he can be completely charismatic and really sweet, and then someone you wouldn't assume. And then behind the scenes, he can be quite evil. He's also got those smarts, so I think they'll use that. And behind the scenes, he'll be tapping away. I'm just imagining this, that he'll be changing the perspective of the people of Metropolis, turning them
What's he
against
gonna do? Dox Superman? Like, just
I-
get in the computer and just start hacking his like
Yeah,
Bank of America profile account? Because I see them doing that in the movie. I think you're right. I think that's what they're gonna do in the movie. I don't think that's good though.
And I just don't see
he'll
him,
fit.
this charismatic thing. I don't see where you're getting that from. He just does not have that. He is like a little Weasley guy behind the scenes.
And he's fantastic at that.
He's not
He's
good.
actually really fantastic
he's
at
good,
doing
but
what
that
he's
is
doing.
not Lex Luthor.
I
And if you
disagree.
want to know
in the
who,
double, he's fairly charismatic.
I think the biggest missed opportunity with this movie is in the casting of Lex Luthor. I think they should have cast Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown.
You want someone that people know about
Listen,
and not like.
okay,
Like, you
all right.
want someone that like. Okay, if you're gonna actually recast
now
it,
there's some fight between you.
Okay.
yeah.
Listen.
I had to bring it to it.
All right, well, look, Clancy Brown has played Lex Luthor longer than anybody has played Lex Luthor. He's been doing the animated series voice. He has an incredibly intense stare. He's got these cold steel blue eyes that just pierce through you. He's got that deep baritone voice, and that is why he has continued to be Lex Luthor. And you want someone who's like menacing, large, intimidating. He's 6'3". This is a guy we've already seen be intimidating with a shaved head, if you remember in The Highlander. That guy.
No one remembers
that's
the
thing.
Highlander besides us two. And yeah, he was great in it. But like,
Yes, Clancy Brown, Shawshank. Come on, there's a lot of we
right.
know who Clancy Brown
We
is.
know
Hopefully,
Clancy Brown.
But
Carnival.
Wait, I need to see where your arguments are differing because you're agreeing on a lot of things except for Clancy Brown versus Woody Harrelson. But tell me, help me separate. I know where she stands. I need to understand where you two are separating your debates. Or are you teaming up?
Where are we?
Is that
Where are
an
we?
impossibility that Roger and Nick would team up?
I hate to say
think,
it,
yeah, we're
but
teaming-
I'm trying.
Oh no! Alicia
It
versus
feels so
Sarah.
wrong. It feels so wrong.
I hate this.
So
I hate.
the audience doesn't always like it, but this is where we stand. They will both win points if they get it. You
This is
will.
not expected.
Okay, just shh. Don't
you
ruin
will-
it though.
So give me your last point, and then we're gonna Alicia reply.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not about how he looks. It's not about his age. It's about being the opposite, like you said, of Superman. The guy sitting behind the computer drinking like 9 Monster drinks, like energy drinks, is not the opposite. The opposite of man is the most human person, as human, like the best human to go against Superman. And the best human is someone who's like charismatic and handsome, and someone who can like he's attracted and almost like a heartthrob, and someone like people gravitate to, because he's got to get the people that gravitate from Superman to him, and he's got to be the ultimate human, I think. And humanity often is evil, so I think that's what I think Lex Luthor absolutely needs to be.
And we also want to Lex
Well,
Luthor.
we're going to let Nick have it. I don't want to, for Alicia's fairness.
I got it.
Now thoughts on that? You give us some examples. How is he charismatic? How are they wrong?
Well,
Charismatic.
charismatic in the double for sure when he plays the flip side to his normal character, and that was a great reflection on the two sides of Jesse Eisenberg. The people that don't think that he can do that. With the movie, he proved that he could because he was a ladies' man. But I think, Nick, you're agreeing with me in a lot of things. You're saying he is perfect for this movie. He fits into this world. He is the opposite to Superman, and that's why he'll make a great Lex Luthor in
he
this
fits
movie.
into
He'll be
Silicon
great.
Valley on HBO. He doesn't fit into Superman.
He fits into this world that Zack
That doesn't mean
Snyder
it's
has
good.
created.
That doesn't make it good, because it's
Makes it
still
perfect for the movie.
that doesn't make it good, because this it's still a mixed bag whether this movie will be good based on the previous movie. So while it might fit, I don't think that necessarily makes it a good
All right, that's
thing.
something we do disagree on. I don't think it fits. Again, I say the age difference is very jarring, and I just do not see him working for this.
But you said they're
Again,
the same age. They're the same age.
Visually, they're not. They are not.
They're opposite looking.
He could be Henry Cavill's kid, and I would not be surprised, except for, he's... doesn't
All
have
right,
the same
I got to
voice.
make a rolling here. Everyone's got their piece in. Dan, anything you're cleaning up here before I do that?
No, it's actually it's a clean round.
Clean round.
Yay.
Good job. We fought fair. This is tough because
Who's
I think
gonna
you
get
all made very valid points, but I think the argument that I didn't see enough of why. I mean, to me, the thing that sort of sealed it was the neurotic, character that we know and love. I didn't see enough of really selling me on how he's done that differently. So for that reason alone, I'm giving it to you two.
Boo.
All right.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
Friendship over.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I do want to go to Otisburg, though. I hope we get to go to Otisburg in this new movie.
All right.
Hashtag Otisburg.
Jesse Eisenberg, prove these fellas wrong. I look forward to it.
I hope he does.
He
I hope
will.
he does.
That would be
Well,
wonderful.
Round 2. We got our first look this week at Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Lots of cool stuff in the trailer. He was hanging off a plane. I was pretty impressed. Were we all impressed?
Oh, yeah.
That's what we
Oh,
asked.
yeah.
No, there wasn't
Yes.
really an argument there because we were all like, we liked the trailer, so we weren't going to fight about why we liked the trailer.
I would win that.
We all agreed, so we didn't make that our fight here. So our fight actually became a separate topic, which is about Tom Cruise, who's in that movie, and I think looks great, doing a good job, and that's the types of movies he does. But it begs this question: is Tom Cruise a great actor, or is he just a popular movie star that just makes good movie star movies? We understand the difference of what that question is.
Yes.
Movie star versus great actor. Which one is he? And this time we're going to be starting with you, Roger.
I think he is a popular movie star. I would not say Tom Cruise is a great actor. Great is a very strong word. That's something I reserve, like, for Daniel Day-Lewis. That is a great actor. That is a guy who can just transform himself, sink himself into any role, and he is a different person every time you see him. But Tom Cruise, he's a good actor. He's but generally the same guy we see in most movies. Like, he's shown some range in some stuff, but like in Eyes Wide Shut, he did good in that movie, but Nicole Kidman stole the show. I think we can agree with that. I mean,
the
even
piano
if
playing
you
stole the
didn't like
Or
it,
the orgies.
Yeah.
yeah, well, there's a lot that's social, but Tom Cruise was definitely kind of at the bottom of the list. And
Not to pull a Mark
and
and
if-
Draco, sorry.
And Kubrick can pull he was able to pull some amazing performances out of just about anybody, but Tom Cruise, it was Tom Cruise in that movie.
Okay, yeah.
That
So
said,
you'll come back. You'll fight more. Nick, where
Okay.
do you stand on this?
Okay, Tom Cruise is a movie star, and not only that, he is the best movie star ever. And that's not a bad thing. It's great that he's a movie star because we need more movie stars. Movie stars get asses in seats. And he's also a great actor because he wouldn't be as prolific if he wasn't. If he was a sham, he wouldn't be doing everything. But he's a great movie star. He's been gracing our screen for 30 years in a variety of performances, and he can get audiences to see different types of movies that they wouldn't have seen with anyone else because he's that charismatic, he's that good, and he's just the best. And frankly, we need Tom Cruise. We need Tom Cruise to keep making movies because there aren't any movie stars left. There's like 3. There's Tom Cruise, there's The Rock, and Pratt, kind of Downey, but like we need movies. Like, movie stars is not a bad word. I think it's a great word. He's the
not.
best at it, and
So
he's
are
the
you saying both?
No, I'm saying he's a movie star.
So you don't think he's a great
you
actor?
said great actor, though.
Because you did say both.
Yeah, no, I think he gives great performances. Like, but I'm gonna go with, when I think of Tom Cruise, I think of movie star and the best movie star ever, and we need that.
Wow, is this a team up again? Alicia, where do you stand? Great actor or popular movie star?
Tom Cruise is a great actor, and people forget that because he's a popular movie star. But he is a great actor. He's a 3-time Oscar nominee. He's worked with some of the most brilliant directors around: Martin Scorsese, Paul Thomas Anderson, Stanley Kubrick, Oliver Stone. And he is able to pull off a great variety of roles. Just look at Born on the 4th of July, where he starts out the movie with a clear eye, patriotic, teen from small town, and then he changes into this really bitter, wheelchair-bound Vietnam vet, angry at the world. You look at Magnolia, where he plays this cocky guy, and then by the end he's crying by his father's bedside. You look at Collateral, where he managed to convince you that Tom Cruise, the hero, was a villain, and talking about chilling looks when he said, "Oh, the bullets in the fall killed him." Look, you really believed that. He also was great as a coward in Edge of Tomorrow. But people forget that he's such a good actor because he sells movies so well. And I agree with you that we need Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise sells movies. He makes people want to see it. He makes people believe in whatever unbelievable world he's taking them into because of his commitment. No one commits to a role like Tom
No,
Cruise.
agreed. And I think being a movie star is even more important than being a, quote, a great actor, because there are plenty of great actors. But unfortunately, for this industry to survive, we need movie stars to make money for movies, and then people can go to it. And that's why he is the best movie star ever. And we need him to do that. Like, if he was like he can take like an indie type movie and then make it a blockbuster, like all the movies you just said, and that's what makes him.
So it makes
Well,
him
I
a
don't.
great actor.
I don't think he really does have that kind of range, though, that you're talking about. You mentioned Magnolia and stuff. He did the same thing basically in Vanilla Sky. I mean, that's not that big of a
It's
stretch
different.
and stuff. I'm just saying, cocky at first and then all sad at the end. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think
it's
Tom
Range.
Cruise.
Are there other examples of him showing range in your head?
Like Jerry Maguire and Rain Man. Rain Man, he had to play against Dustin Hoffman. He had to be a great supporting actor to
straight
support
man, yeah.
that brilliant performance. And I think that Tom Cruise, his commitment to the role, I mean, no one takes a movie more seriously than Tom Cruise. I think he's the flip side to Daniel Day-Lewis in that he doesn't do
He's an anchor.
complete
He's an
physical
anchor to-
transformation.
Well,
And-
here's what I wanted to say at the beginning is I'm not like a huge fan of the guy's acting. Like I don't think he's some amazing actor. Because the question is he a great actor? And I would say no. But I am a fan of the guy as far as his action movies. I'm not sure he's someone like bringing you into movies that you wouldn't necessarily see. Like
Absolutely.
No, listen. Edge of Tomorrow, Minority Report, Collateral. I would see those movies with or without Tom Cruise. I just would. I mean, those are interesting stories. I love sci-fi. I love action. That's good stuff.
But you know what? No, the rest of the country aren't big sci-fi guys. They're not big movie nerds. They're gonna go because of Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise gets people to see
He
movies.
gets more
they wouldn't-
people.
How many more people saw Vanilla Sky because Tom Cruise was on the poster than they
I
never
don't know
would
if
have?
that's a good thing.
Or or Collateral, or
This is great. Give me one quick line because I think it is a pretty easy round for me based on everything that's saying. But final thoughts quickly. I want to make sure you got everything you wanted to say.
Tom Cruise, he's someone who's never really blown my mind in terms of his acting, but the action scenes he is in, those are what's mind-blowing. It's the action movies. And he's 52 years old, and he's willing to throw himself out there and do all these stunts. That's awesome. I like that about him.
Nick?
the
but not a
best
great
movie
actor.
star ever, and you have to be a great actor to be a great movie star.
Yeah,
Alicia?
commitment is what makes a great actor, and he is a great actor because he completely commits, and he chooses to do more fun roles because he loves the audience to experience this kind of popcorn ride with him, but he has the range, and he's shown that many times.
Yeah, I don't think. I think it really became down to Roger and Alicia because you kind of picked both and didn't really hedge your bet. So that's why I'm ruling Nick out. And I think Roger's being a little unfair because I think Born on the 4th of July alone showed range in just that, which he brings up from. He changes his character drastically in that movie.
But
and
great
it's insanely
actor.
dramatic.
Great actor. Daniel Day-Lewis,
Great-
people like that.
I don't know, man.
He's a great
you're
actor.
putting
He's
that
a
on the
Great
same.
actor.
He's a
and
great
been
actor.
pulling it off for
Three-time
decades.
Oscar nominee.
So I think Alicia sealed that one easily. Alicia gets the point.
Well fought. Well fought.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
That was a pretty amazing range in
That
it
was-
as well. He's good. But anyway,
Oh, he's got a
Alicia
good
pulled
sense of
up-
humor. I love
Well,
that him and
round
Ben
3.
Stiller have done stuff together. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Mission Impossible in the trailer, next week is Furious 7, which is a big, huge franchise.
For you.
So what is this, 5 Mission Impossibles? And this
But-
will be the 7th Furious 7 with your best friend, The Rock, who you're, we should tease this, you're going to be speaking with The Rock on this
Speaking.
week's Screen Junkies, right?
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
not
Wow.
Skyping. You're actually speaking to him in
Yeah,
person.
we do a lot more than speaking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they do. I think you play Truth or Dare with The
Yeah,
Rock.
it's gonna be good.
Wow,
So-
as well
the
as meeting
bottle?
the other cast members.
yeah, that went less well.
Did you play Spin the Bottle with him?
No,
You will have to tune in on Thursday to
Find
find
out
out.
Thursday.
But,
Oh, I'm tuning in.
Yeah, me
Nick
too.
did following his wrestling debut this week, which was fantastically hilarious. Good job, Nick.
Well
We
done.
somehow Hal. Sorry, Hal. We got to send Hal somewhere. But you got WWE and the Furious 7, so you're doing great, Nick. But,
Thank you very much.
Thanks for embarrassing us both times. But back to the topic at hand. Fight number 3. What is the better modern action franchise, Mission Impossible or The Fast and the Furious? Now, 5 movies versus 7. We haven't. Some of you may not have seen the 5th one or the 7th one yet.
I won't
obviously.
use-
So
I
we're
will
going to
use parts
base
of it.
up until Fast 6 and to Ghost Protocol is what we're basing these on, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting with you, Nick. Which is the best action franchise, Fast and Furious or Mission Impossible?
Let's get
This one's actually really tough because I love both franchises. They both push the boundaries in filmmaking and laws of gravity. They both have great movies. They both have a couple not great movies. The thing about the franchise for me, and the franchise is the key word, not to get all Harloff on everyone, was the Fast and the Furious. Every movie.
Yeah, what are you picking?
No, it's Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
With Fast and the
Are you
Furious,
surprised?
I wasn't sure. For
the
a
movies
second.
build off each other. There's a story. There's a mythology. What happens in one event leads to changes what happens in the 6th one or the 7th one. And there's a story, and the characters grow, and the characters change, and they all build off each other. The Mission Impossible movies, while great, almost reset after each movie. It's like they're just a collection of Tom Cruise action movies where Ving Rhames shows up occasionally. You know, they're great, but I don't feel like they're a franchise. I mean, we don't know what happened. Like, what happened to all the characters that happened before? Tom Cruise's character, the one part that Mission Impossible doesn't have is Ethan Hunt hasn't really had any character growth whatsoever in the movies. Like, we still don't know why he's doing it while he's willing to jump off, you know, hang off on a plane. We're glad he does, but we don't know why. And there's just no development between one to another. What happens in one doesn't affect what happens in the other. And I think that's what makes a strong franchise, a strong saga. And Fast and the Furious has it, and
I
Mission
look forward
Impossible
to you
doesn't.
sharing those examples of how they do that in Fast and Furious when we come back to you.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Alicia, where do you stand?
Mission Impossible is the better action franchise. It's got better crafted movies, better directors, better actors, better storylines, better plots, and it gives great directors a lot of money to do some really exciting stuff, some exciting set pieces, and they feel real because you know that Tom Cruise is actually doing them. I agree that Fast and Furious is fun to watch, but when you watch those stunts these days, it's like, I don't believe it, because I know that they're going to walk away without a scratch, and they're not actually doing that.
They
There's
are
a lot
doing
of
that.
CGI.
No, they are doing this. They are doing the
They
stunts. Watch
fly
it.
a building through, plane through three buildings.
Yes. Watch it behind the scenes. They're doing it. They're literally jumping out of planes.
There's some things that don't make sense. But anyway.
Well, no, I'm not saying it makes sense.
But yeah, Tom Cruise on the side of a building in Mission Impossible 4 was really scary seeing that on IMAX. The first one, Brian De Palma took a big risk where he killed the squad in the first half hour, kind of like a psycho twist. Second one, okay, John Woo. It is motorbikes and flowing hair, but that's one movie that's been bad out of the 4, and the 5th looks really good. Number 3, J.J. Abrams gave him a chance to step out of the TV world. It was a modern, almost a Bourne-style action thriller, and it had a great villain played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. And then number 4, Brad Bird stepped out from the animation studios, showed what he could do. Those action sequences were great. Plus, we got more of a chance to know more about the squad. And then the 5th one looks great.
Because what happened to Kittredge? What happened to Tandy Newton? What happened to Paula Patton?
Well, I think that
Who is Ethan Hunt?
Mission Impossible has done a better job at building the franchise, whereas Fast and Furious, they made up for it, but they had to work damn hard to fix all those plot holes.
No, they're not plot holes. They were crumbs.
There are no plot holes in Fast and the Furious.
No,
All right, well, let's let Roger get his opinion out before we do the.
Dan, you can have fun with that because I don't have that much time.
Go ahead, Roger. Where do you stand?
Mission Impossible. Hands down, no doubt about it. With Fast and Furious, you always know what you're going to get because, you know, it's like, what crazy situation can we put a car into? All right, great.
As opposed to what crazy situation we could put Tom Cruise in.
Well, they're not so limited with just cars and stuff in these Mission Impossible movies. It's all spy technology. You have explosive implants in people's heads. You have masks that replicates a person's look.
Have they done that before? I feel like they've done that over.
You have gloves that let you climb like Spider-Man. Let me have my moment here, Nick. We already.
Sorry, apologies.
All right, look. So you know, Tom Cruise, he climbed down and ran down the mirrored exterior of the Burj Khalifa in it's the tallest building in the world in Dubai. And what happens in the next Fast and the Furious movie? They wanted to take the cars to Dubai, but they found out that there was a tax break by going to let's see, what was the name of it? Abu Dhabi, just south of Dubai. So they went there for a tax break. So they're just riding on the coattails of the ideas of Mission Impossible, which I don't like. And talking about stunts, yeah, they're doing stunts in Fast and the Furious, but guess what? It's not The Rock doing the stunts. It's The Rock's stuntman named Tanoi Reed. He is the guy doing it. He is the guy doing the stunts. There's your badass Rock. No, Tom Cruise is the one doing the actual stunts in his movies. There you go.
I think we should team up, Roger.
Okay, so tell me which one of the movies in Mission Impossible is.
Are we going to respond to that, Rock? Shut
I'm
up.
ignoring it. I'm ignoring it because in the footage,
yeah,
no, there's behind-the-scenes footage.
All you can do is ignore it, and you know it.
No, there's footage of him just slamming Statham through a glass table, and they're picking glass out. I don't have to explain. Like they do the stunts. They're jumping out of a plane.
All right, him slamming Statham through a table. Is that as dangerous as Tom Cruise dangling from the tallest building in the world, or
Look, I can go to
from-
Six Flags
from
and watch
an
a stunt
airplane.
show like easy, but like
Hey,
I'm talking
great.
about the best movie.
Yeah,
I'm talking
but
about
you're
the best
talking about
franchise.
one of your biggest stars in the movie willing to take that risk and putting the stunt guys aside and say, "No, I'm going to do this." And make it
I'm
look
tired
more
of seeing
real.
the same movie over and over again where Tom Cruise is getting hunted by his own IMF team. The IMF gets disbanded, and then they have to beat the bad
The
guy.
Rock
It just saves.
absolutely dwarfs Tom Cruise, and he can't do the stunts himself. Exactly. I rest my case.
I don't think they're French. I don't think it's the franchise. I think it's the same movie over and over again, repeating, with a different hot girl in it and with different hair.
Fast and Furious is so ridiculous. Soon they're
But there's a story. There is a story.
I challenge you to explain me the story of Furious 7.
Yes.
Okay.
Off camera, so no spoilers. But
Okay.
it was so confusing. It made no sense. It's just
What?
like chucking everyone in.
And we've
for the
already
sake of it.
established that not only are they stealing from Mission Impossible, where they're going.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
I
already
want to
said-
take what Alicia said, actually, Nick, because I'm a fan of both franchises, but can you tell me the mythology story, as well as the names of the girls that have been in there that are no longer there
'Cause
anymore?
It's what, 1, 2, 5.
Because if you
5?
can, I will be
Something
incredibly
ridiculous.
impressed.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 4, 7.
I
Is
will
that right?
put Too Fast, Too Furious is better than Mission Impossible 2.
It's really confusing. Oh, but I think Mission Impossible 2 had a misstep, but not as many.
Oh
as
no,
Fast
no!
and
I think
Furious.
there's nothing worse than Mission
Tokyo
Impossible 2.
Drift.
That's a good movie. I'll watch that movie. Mission Impossible when they're like fighting with Doug Ray Scott is just.
Hey, I'm not going to challenge you that Mission Impossible 2 is terrible, but I'm going to say it's one rare misstep from the franchise. Where
It's a huge mess up
Fast and
that
Furious have had more.
that almost canceled Paramount.
Also, Mission Impossible doesn't have these like crazy requisite TNA shots of the women in their movie.
What are you
Watch-
talking about? It's
watch-
the same thing. They do
No,
the same.
watch the Fast and the Furious trailer. You are looking up someone's crotch. That's a fucking Michael Bay move. I'm sorry for the language, but that's
Have
a
you
Michael
not
Bay
seen
move.
Thandie Newton in Mission Impossible 2 when it was like and Paula
Every
Patton-
trailer for a Fast and the Furious movie,
They get
it
a nice
shows
dress
these
in
things.
Mission
Am I allowed to
Exactly.
explain the mythology?
They get a nice
It's
dress.
yeah,
They're
exactly.
classy.
A nice dress rather than girls in bikinis or super mini skirts right up against the car.
They really do it in 7, too.
Yeah.
Dan, did you have something to add in here?
Very, very quickly, because I want to go back to watching this. The correct order for Fast and Furious is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7.
Yeah.
So confusing.
It's not that confusing.
It's
Well,
really
they did
explain it
3 in an
beautifully.
offshoot, and then they realized, let's connect that in at the end
And
of
speaking of movies connecting to each other, you're saying the Mission Impossible ones. The next Mission Impossible picks up right where where Ghost Protocol
all right.
left off. They've already said that. So there
Then
is
what-
a continuing storyline. Plus, we're
They
seeing-
just started
we're seeing-
after 4 movies. They're just starting a storyline through it because I still have no idea who Ethan Hunt is. Do
We're
you guys,
also speaking
do you
of
guys
Ethan
know who
Hunt.
Hunt is?
He's a
we're-
spy.
What else?
Exactly. Thank you.
What happened to
We're-
his wife?
He's a spy.
His wife is still alive.
Where is she?
Feel free to challenge him back on the other.
Yeah,
I mean,
look.
Look, I feel like look. It's
Here's where we stand. One last thought. Well, let me get one last statement from everybody.
It's hard being on the one person. It's not easy.
I know.
It was,
Well, they
I
haven't teamed up.
apologize.
They haven't officially teamed
no,
up,
they
so-
did say they did team up.
Did
I
you
said,
team
do
up?
you want to? Roger went, I don't know. so I
Roger
haven't
didn't
done
commit.
any.
Are you standing on your own, or are you teaming up, Roger?
It's just like all the guys in my life are not able to commit.
I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna play it risky. I'm gonna.
He's
I'm
playing
gonna,
his own.
It's
So
all
Alicia,
right.
give me
It's
your
all right.
final piece here,
It's
so I know
all
where
right.
you stand.
I think the Mission Impossible. It's better written, better cast, better directors, better actors, great action sequences. Still as exciting as Fast and Furious. Plus, it has further to grow. I think Fast and Furious has to keep topping itself every time. By Fast and Furious 8, they're going to literally be jumping sharks. Like they're going to be jumping cars over sharks.
He's hanging off a
Jumping
plane. He was
shark.
hanging off a building. They build the
I don't
movie
want to
about
watch
the poster.
that though, but I
Yeah.
agree that's silly.
I feel like Mission Impossible
Lasers
does the
on 'em?
exact same thing you just said, except there's actually a storyline with it.
Yeah,
Rather
the
than
storyline
restart.
makes it better.
Mission Impossible has the the benefit of like, hey, we don't have to worry about anything that happened before. Let's just create a new movie. We'll get Tom Cruise with a different haircut, bring Ving Rhames back if we can, and then we'll just do a whole new movie and not worry about anything that ever happened before.
That's Nick's closing. Roger, you're closing.
In Fast and the Furious 8, they're probably going to have someone hijacking a space shuttle,
Awesome.
and they'll duct tape a car to it as it
Cool.
goes into space.
Rad.
And yeah, that's very funny.
kinda cool.
That's
Yeah.
funny and goofy and
Did we
ridiculous.
team up?
And ridiculous. But look, we've already seen what Mission Impossible does. It introduces
They do the
crazy-
same thing over and over again.
Will you let me speak?
Yes.
All right. Listen, we're talking about like all this crazy technology that gets introduced in every Mission Impossible movie, and that's always exciting. With Fast and the Furious, all right, they're going to throw a tank into a car chase scene, big whoop. We've seen that kind of crazy stuff in their movies already. Great, they're going to introduce new cars, but with these with the Tom Cruise movies, it's amazing. It's all new technology, and we're talking about him, latching onto the side of a plane. We're also seeing him actually diving into a giant water sphincter in this trailer. There's a giant water sphincter, and he dives into it. I'm on board because I just want to know, why is Tom Cruise diving into a water sphincter?
It is weird. It looks.
Yes.
I don't know what that thing is.
It's
I
like
didn't think of
goat.
a sphincter,
Tom
but
Cruise
yeah.
is diving into goatsy on that.
I think
I want to see that movie.
See, my thing. I think.
All right, you had your pieces.
All right.
You all said your pieces. The thing that won me out really was 2 lines, but it was really the Rock call out of the stunt double was a great blow, as well as the fact that I love that you pointed out that Fast and Furious totally just took the Dubai moment from Ghost Protocol and were like, oh, let's put a car in it instead of Tom
Exactly.
Cruise.
I think it was more than that.
That was a great point. I got to give it. So Roger ends up winning for those debates alone. Good job, Roger. So now Roger takes the lead because you all have a point, but Roger now has 2 points. Wow, round 4. Nick, I mean, I wanted you to have a little bit more. The story in Furious 7?
It's great.
There's anyway.
There's no story in the Mission
That's all
Impossible
you kept
movies.
pounding on. You gotta
Because
gotta help me.
that's what makes a franchise.
Dan has
Some thoughts.
Well, if Vin Diesel is correct, then Nick will have the last laugh because he's predicted that Fury 7 will win Best
Win the
Picture at
Oscar.
this year's Oscars.
Idiots.
So that could put
will
put
change
this
things up a lot.
that'd be a big blow to Nick's side. So we'll see.
I've seen the movie. It's
So
very
much.
fun. I don't see that coming though. I don't think it'll be Best Picture. Round 4, Kevin Smith is getting the entire original cast back together for Mallrats 2 because Kevin Smith just has to keep doing the old stuff that everyone loves. Looks
they?
like he's getting
Yeah.
everyone
they?
back. He tweeted with Shannon Doherty and he's getting the whole gang back together.
Ooh, Shannon Doherty. Let's
How
see
did
it.
he nothing to do?
How did
Surprise,
he get
surprise.
her? How?
I don't know. But that brought up a very good question for fight number 4. What movie cast would you like to see reunited for a sequel? They're doing this so often now, but what's one that would actually be one we'd be excited about? Let's start with you, Alicia. What do you think?
I would love to see the cast of The Breakfast Club reunite for a sequel. So I was just at South by Southwest and got to see a 30th anniversary screening of the film. It was a packed house. People loved that movie still. There's a lot of love for it. And now the people that grew up with it are now all parents' age or, they're older. They can relate to the movie in a different way. They had Molly Ringwald and Ali Sheedy there, did a Q&A, and they were talking about how their perspective on the movie changed with age. Molly said she used to really relate to the teenagers. Now that she's a parent, she relates to the parents. And you realize that The Breakfast Club is all told through the kids' perspective. Like, are the parents really that mean, or is that just how they see them? So I would love for the cast to get back together when they're all older, they're all parents' age, and now we see their perspective on the movie. I mean, maybe you could do something crazy like they all have kids and then
they're all in study hall together?
to detention, and so you could have the 2 storylines happening together, the younger crowd for a younger audience, and then the nostalgic factor of seeing all these guys back together, and they could hang out for the day, and you could see where they ended up. Did any of them get married? What happened on Monday morning? Were they still friends, or did they ignore each other? Are they still the same stereotypes as they were before, or have they changed? I want to know so much, and that's why I would love to see this cast back together for a sequel.
Fascinating choice. Roger, what do you like to see?
Well, first off, I don't think The Breakfast Club is
What do
something
you
that's-
like to see?
Oh, we can't argue yet?
But no, get some of your points out.
Fine. I would like to see The Fifth Element. I want to
Okay.
see the cast of The Fifth Element back. Mila Jovovich, Bruce Willis, Chris Tucker, Tommy Tiny Lister, Zeus from No Holds Barred, yeah. Gary Oldman, the works. I think it was a absolutely fantastic sci-fi space opera, and there's just no movie out there like it. There is nothing out there that has ever been made like it, and I'd love to revisit that world. And the director himself has said he'd like to go back to that universe at some time. Maybe it's some of the same characters, maybe it's other characters in that world, but they created something absolutely unique, something totally memorable, and that is something well worth revisiting, in my opinion.
Nick, what's your pick? And then we'll start the fight.
All right. I liked what Alicia said, but I want to do the fun version. That's why I want to reunite the cast of Goonies. I want to see them. Goonies was the ultimate kids wish fulfillment movie, where like kids that looked like kids, talked like kids, went on this crazy adventure. Now becoming an adult, vaguely, getting older. I want to see these guys come back and become the ultimate adult wish fulfillment movie, and them going on an adventure.
Did you say movie wrong twice?
Yes, you did.
Sorry, just
Sorry.
fact
Nick,
checking.
I'm sorry. You just said move me.
No, sorry.
Movely.
Movie, yeah.
So keep going. Sorry.
feelings.
He's still
I
thinking about
ignored the
Fast and the
first one, but it was
Furious.
hard to ignore the second
Yeah,
one.
fair enough. No, I just think it would be taking everything she said and seeing the Goonies come back as adults, dealing with adult crap, but also going on this adventure that pushes them, like when they were fearless as kids, now like can you do the same thing again? And like, question your humanity, question your manhood, and all of that coming back together, and seeing this gang back together, Data, Chunk, Mouth. Yeah, I want to see Corey Feldman back in a movie. Everyone, Brent, I want to see everyone back and just have this great, really fun adventure. Bring the kids too, and I think that would be great. Like them get another crazy adventure would be the most fun in the world. Like
Great, 3 fun ideas. Now let's start to
Okay,
fight. Roger, go ahead.
well, you're not going to bring back Sloth because he passed away. He passed away. Sloth is, and I don't want to learn that Sloth died. I want to learn that him and Chunk lived happily ever after, and the Goonies was
that's what
perfect
sets
the
them
way
off
it
on their
ended.
anniversary.
Did Sloth die?
Yes, yeah, he's.
That's what sets
not
him
in
off on the
movie. No,
adventure.
the
The
actor. Yes,
Yeah, well,
the
you get
actor.
another actor in
Yeah,
there.
well, that's what sets him off in the adventure. That's what brings everyone together. Sloth's funeral, they take off his Superman shirt. He has a treasure map. That's what
And-
sets him off in his adventure. Thank you, Roger.
The big problem with
He buried
both,
treasure?
Yeah,
Oh, now they buried it instead of left
we
it
get
on a
Sloth's
pirate
kid
ship.
played
All
by
right,
me.
great.
This is all great.
Look, both of these movies that they're pitching rely heavily on nostalgia, and that's great and all, but that's not necessarily going to draw in audiences. Whereas The Fifth Element, you're actually going to bring a lot of people in just because they want to see an awesome space sci-fi action movie. You're
Like
introducing
Jupiter
all these
Ascending?
amazing things.
People would actually,
ouch.
to
Like
be
what?
fair though,
Like
we're not
Jupiter
teaming up,
Ascending?
but people
Like
would actually.
hold on.
Ascending.
He asked twice. Go ahead, Alicia. Say it now with
I heard Jupiter.
She
Ascending.
said Jupiter Ascending.
Like
All right,
Jupiter
thank you.
Ascending.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's going to be as bad as Jupiter Ascending or anything, but it's going to get people into theaters with amazing costumes, amazing
didn't
characters,
get
and
No
great
one-
storyline.
they-
Alicia, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say something like Jupiter Ascending shows that it didn't get people into cinemas. I love Fifth Element, but I love that it's a standalone film. I don't need to see any more of that because that is a great movie that still holds up. So you could watch it in its entirety.
The same could be said for all three of these movies. They're all great movies that
I feel like we
that
could almost
hold
team
up,
up 'cause
but
it's a
you know,
similar thing.
these two movies have a definitive ending, and you can just leave them there. You don't need to go beyond that. With The Fifth Element, you could absolutely. There's this whole universe that they're working
think
with.
don't-
Not kids in high school getting older, and
Don't
now they're
underestimate
reflecting back
nostalgic
on
value.
their. I'm not.
Yeah, I think they're
You're
all
talking to
nostalgic.
me.
So
I love nostalgia.
They're all.
Yeah.
Yours is nostalgia too for like hard sci-fi nerds. I mean, it's all nostalgia. I mean, my movie though, the difference between my movie and your movie, because I think we have a lot of same things. Mine would still be fun and not crippling, depressing, because I think most of those characters, half of them would be dead. No, half of okay.
They're better at the end.
maybe one of them.
A
They're
couple of them
better
are dead.
at the
I mean, they're out at their funeral. They're at old Molly Ringwald's funeral.
Is
you
that
know.
Who would
Claire?
die first?
No, probably not.
Claire would not die.
the
They'd all
couple
get
of
back
them-
together. And John Hughes himself was working on sequels to
and that's
Breakfast
another
Club.
reason I don't want to touch it, because John.
He might even have stuff that's already unproduced because he wrote a lot of screenplays before his death. And he was such a great writer. I'd venture to say he's a better writer than
You
director.
think he wrote a Breakfast Club
No.
2 script,
He,
though?
no, he wanted to.
His
Apparently
family won't
in
even let an Uncle Buck
2005
Check that
TV
out for
shows
me, man.
happen.
In 2005, him and Emilio Estevez were talking seriously about doing a sequel.
His family is trying to stop the Uncle Buck TV show remake. I don't think they're going to
As
make
they should.
The
Without
Breakfast
John
Club.
Candy, you can't have Uncle Buck.
They're not going to
but
try.
all the Breakfast Club cast is
There was a
still
TV show.
alive and still together.
Well, you know what?
Without
And
John
still
Candy,
go.
right? That also. So, all right, I need to hear a little bit more. Each of you, go ahead and knock the other two down.
Okay, well, the Breakfast Club, with my idea, you could bring in a new audience by having a new young cast and not doing a remake. And you could also bring in the older crowd who love that movie and have that nostalgia factor. Whereas I think the Goonies, you're relying so heavily on the audience who loved it. I don't think young people would want to see an older Goonies.
No, well, like you bring in the kids too. I mean, you go on this great adventure, this great family adventure. When was the last time we had a great family PG-13 adventure? I mean, I can't think of anything.
Quite often.
Didn't The Rock do one called
That wasn't good.
Journey to the Center of the Earth or something?
No, but you get Richard Donner, you get Steven Spielberg, you get Chris Columbus, and then you make the ultimate feel-good movie. Yes, it's nostalgia, and nostalgia sometimes sucks. But like, you get the Goonies back, you get their kids back. You go on Sloth's pirate adventure that was tattooed on his chest.
As older, I
From
think
the
that seems
coffin?
really
Yeah.
sad.
I don't want to. I
No.
don't want to
Oh,
see.
your movie, it's a Breakfast Club. That movie was sad already. Like, most of the people they're going to be popping pills. They're going to be talking about their cutting children and how miserable their lives are. That's what their lives are. I don't need to see another movie about 5 people sitting in a locker room, now that they're old, hating their life. Breakfast Club was great, but I don't have time for that. I want to see a madcap.
What about Fifth Element?
Fifth Element was. I never cared about Fifth Element. I never, like, it was fine.
All right.
I don't want to. I would rather see all those people make another movie.
Roger, go ahead. Knock the other two down, please.
Both of these movies, they're movies that have kids in them. Kids are the stars, and that is what people remember. I don't want to see them grown up and old and reflecting back on everything. If I want to see adults acting like kids and going on childish adventures or doing ridiculous things, I'll watch Wet Hot American Summer. That's fun for me. I like that kind of stuff. But with The Fifth Element, age isn't going to matter. It's not going to matter.
What's the story?
Okay, Lilu and Corbin Dallas are meeting they're fighting against the Sixth Element, which is a new evil in the galaxy, and they're having a kid together, and the kid is the only one with the power to actually stop it.
So
Because
you have
Corbin
kids in
and
the
Lilu
movie?
can't do it.
You have kids in the movie?
I'm introducing kids rather than making kids grow up. They're having to protect them from all angles coming at them, all kinds of different foes and everything. That's wonderful. That's going to be a movie that can put people in seats.
Dan has a thought here. Go ahead, fact check us, please.
I just wanted to reply to your request. Yes, the Emilio Estevez said in 2005 that John Hughes had talked to him about a sequel to The Breakfast.
That's
The
just sad.
At that time, it was they were obviously a little
Not for
younger.
fans.
Is he sick then or something?
Well,
I don't
John
know.
Hughes' last movies weren't that great. I mean, he started going downhill like with Dutch and what was it, Beethoven's Third, or I forget the later movies that he did
don't
and
know,
stuff.
but his
John Hughes
writing
was on
was
top of the world in the 80s. He was amazing and stuff, but
Yeah, but you know who's still good?
Yeah.
Spielberg, Richard Donner. I mean,
I just think I've always wondered what happened to the characters for The Breakfast Club. I've never
check your
wondered about
Facebook
either of
page.
these two.
Check your Facebook page. They're miserable. They're posting on Facebook about the kids that they won't talk to them.
Talking about miserable, you just said you want Corey Feldman to come back. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Have you seen that guy's life right now?
It's awesome.
All right, so I got to make a call here. I feel like you all got your points out, and this is tough. I think Nick did. Nick had a pretty good shot down on you, Alicia. For it would be a really depressing movie, most likely with those characters old, hating their lives, cutting children, etc.
Not necessarily.
So I like, regardless whether true or not, that was a good knockdown. But I think so. I'm debating between you two. Interesting thing, but I guess I gotta, for the sake of being able to clock them out a little bit easier than I feel like you clocked him out, I'm gonna give it to Nick. Nick gets the
You
point.
set up most of my argument.
It was
with
close, and I think he did. You guys were, but then he said it's the funner version, which it would be the funner version. I think is a fair point he made.
Although I like dark and depressing movies.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Go
we
ahead,
all do.
Dan. Round
I
5.
wonder you like the Lex Luthor.
Dan, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, just very quickly, because Nick is always harping on Richard Donner. He hasn't directed a movie in like 10 years.
He's still good.
And his last one was 16 Blocks, and then
Which was
Timeline,
awesome.
and then Lethal Weapon 4 before that.
Perfect.
And I'm just saying, his last good movie was like 20 years ago.
16 Blocks is really good.
So let's go down to round 5. The trailer for the new film Maggie came out this week, and it features Arnold Schwarzenegger in a more dramatic role. He's getting older, and I think he's dealing with zombies in this movie. He can't do action movies forever, so that brings up number 5 here. Could you see Arnold Schwarzenegger as a dramatic actor? And we're going to start with you, Roger. Do you think Arnold could pull off doing something strong?
I think it's going to be hard to take Arnold Schwarzenegger seriously because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. You see his face and you're just waiting for him to like say some ridiculously corny line or pull off some impossible feat of strength that, you know, obviously he can no longer do that these days. But Arnold's also had a career in comedy. And I think he could do more comedic films. I mean, he's done, if you want to talk about him doing dramatic roles, Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin, that's basically as dramatic of a character as he's portrayed. You know, his wife has, you know, this terminal illness and all that. And God, what a mockery of the character that was. It's just abysmal. And you can't help but laugh at it. It's comedic. So him taking on a dramatic role, while I understand why he would want to maybe do that at this point in his career, because, I mean, he can't, like, lift giant trees on his shoulder anymore or anything like that. I'd rather see him do comedy than drama because I cannot see him pulling it off.
Nick.
Some of you may not know this, but Arnold Schwarzenegger has won a Golden Globe in 1977 for it's called Stay Hungry in a dramatic role, and he won that. You're right, he's done crap, and he's doing tons of crap now.
I love his crap.
Yeah,
I
but
love his
if you get him with the right writer, right director, of course he can do a dramatic performance. And I think he would be good at it. Sylvester Stallone nailed out of the park in like Copland. So I think these guys are talented. He's
Stallone
lazy
started.
and he loves money, and so did Schwarzenegger. He won in
Stallone started as a dramatic actor.
So did
with
Schwarzenegger.
Rocky.
So did Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger was Hercules in New York. I'm sorry.
But he
that is
also
not
he also
drama.
won a Golden Globe. He won a Golden Globe. And I'm sorry, but like you get him in the right part, you get him the right. Of course, he can make a dramatic part. He might not do it all the time, but I think the reason why he sucks is because it's easy for him. It's easy to get a paycheck. People will pay for that. But he could do a low-budget movie with the right person, get Catherine Bigelow, get James Cameron.
He's not a classically trained actor, man. He's not someone who's going to like pull off a drama better than anyone else, and he just.
We're not comparing it to anyone else. We're comparing. Can he do a dramatic performance? And absolutely,
can you look at him in a drama and take him seriously?
Yes.
I don't think you can.
Yes,
see
I
his
could.
face.
All right, Alicia, let's see where you stand before we open up the reins here.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that he can be a dramatic actor. And we don't want him to be. We want him to be the action guy. Everyone can do an Arnold impression. Mine is terrible.
You got what you want to give these people.
He has such a particular way of speaking. It's hard to take him seriously in a dramatic role. The trailer for Maggie looks really intriguing, but it's 2 minutes of other people speaking. He has one line in the trailer, and that makes me a little bit worried. He does do a concerned look very well, but I'm just not convinced that he can pull off a dramatic role.
He's done it before. Predator, Terminator 2, End of Days.
But not a nuanced.
Did you just say Predator
Yes.
is a drama?
He wasn't cracking jokes. Everyone else was.
No, but I'm talking about a nuanced.
Okay, and you know what? I don't want funny Schwarzenegger
believable
because it's like your drunk uncle coming over and hanging out with you and your friends. I don't want that. I would rather him try something different. I would support every movie he does where he's not like doing some type of pun off an older movie because I hate that.
Yeah.
That is awful.
We did it. It was called Sabotage or
No,
something?
he sabotaged the
Did
prison
you see
movie.
it?
Huh?
Did you see it?
Because I'm that guy.
Was he good?
No.
And
But
I
no,
don't know
because
if I would-
funny old post-governor Schwarzenegger is terrible because he's doing the same schlock. He's just trying to
we don't want to
recapture
see him
magic.
say, "I'll be back again."
No,
of course
that's why
not.
I want to see
But
him in dramatic parts, and I think he could do it. I
he
think he
can
would be
do
great
comedy
at it.
so much better. I mean, look at him in like Jingle
That's
All
not
the
the
Way.
question. That's not the question. Of course he could. But he can do a lot because he is an actor. He is a good actor. He's a lazy actor who loves money and loves crap and loves being in movies where people pay him to be crap.
I
Give him the chance, he could do it.
Schwarzenegger
Alicia,
is
go ahead.
not a good actor.
I haven't seen Stay Hungry, but I wouldn't be using a Golden Globe as a selling point. If you've met the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, they're more into having stars in their ceremony than
Right, just look
It's-
at
it's an
look at
accolade.
the- Look
It's
at
an
the
accolade.
history
It's
of awards.
possible.
There's been
But
plenty of
I
like
haven't seen
ridiculous
that yet.
awards handed
But
out
I'm
over the years.
unconvinced, and that's my
I mean,
argument.
for God's sakes, Crash won the award for Best Picture.
So you don't think...
So let's keep focusing. I heard you, Nick. I get it. Tell me. I'd love to hear your separate opinions, so I know who I'm awarding points if you win. Why again? What is it about Arnold you think that can't be pulled off, like Nick's saying, with a great director, a good performance as a dramatic actor?
Comes down to the way he delivers lines.
His accent?
His accent. No, not just his accent, but his acting when he delivers the lines. I think he's a great physical performer, but when it comes to dialogue and making you really believe his dialogue, I don't buy him as a dramatic actor if we're talking about a dramatic, nuanced performance.
Other than Arnold's comedies, he has not had a lot of lines in any of his movies. That's why it's always just like these one-liners that he can say very quickly without anything, coming out of it. But comedies, he can pull off. That's what we know. But drama, it's just not something, because we've grown up with Arnold. We are used to his crazy facial expressions. I mean, look at Total Recall, him doing all that ridiculous stuff when he's in the chair and everything. That is the Arnold we know, and that is the Arnold we love. But as he gets older and he can't do that, that doesn't mean he should take on drama. He can do comedy. We've seen him do that before. That is what he should focus on now, since action is getting a little bit beyond his years. Drama, though, we're going to just constantly be distracted thinking about when's he going to say some ridiculous line that we're all going to laugh at. And I guarantee you, once this movie comes out and we've all seen it, or maybe we haven't all seen it, we will be making fun of some lines that he delivered in this super dramatic role where it's supposed to be something dark and something going on with his
Quickly.
daughter.
No one thought Jean-Claude Van Damme could do a dramatic role.
And no one
he
still does.
Except, have you seen JCVD,
Yes, I have
where he
seen
did a
JCVD.
great performance? Give him the chance. I bet he can do it.
With that last blow, I'm giving it to Nick Mundy.
Hey.
Anything's possible, I guess, and it was hard to distinguish which one I would pick out of you two. Nick gets it. Quickly, Dan.
Quickly, just a little background on Stay Hungry. He won a Golden Globe for Best Debut in a Motion Picture. He played a bodybuilder who was Mr. Austria, who was getting ready to win
real
Miss Universe.
dramatic,
Mr.
real
Universe.
stretch.
So
Right.
there you go.
And I wasn't making fun of him.
Round 6.
Did you just say suckers?
Yeah, see, this was a question we got from Twitter that we just thought was interesting. It's a random one, but Jeremy Bevacqua, Jeremy L. Bevacqua. Sorry if I said your name wrong, Jeremy. He asked, what's the best American remake of a foreign language film? We're going to start with you, Nick.
Great. In 1991, there was a French film called L'Untitled. I don't know how to pronounce it. I can barely pronounce English words. And it is the precursor to 1994's James Cameron's True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, probably at the apex of both of their careers. True Lies, I mean, I watched L'Untitled last night. It's fine. True Lies is awesome. True Lies is one of the best, if not the best, action movies of the 90s. It's hilarious. It gives great performances. Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Arnold, Schwarzenegger, Bill Paxton, Tia Carrere. Everyone is fantastic in this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. It is the best foreign remake of all time.
Alicia, what's your pick?
The best foreign remake is The Departed, the film that finally won Martin Scorsese the Best Director Oscar and made over $100 million domestically. That is based on a 2002 Hong Kong film called Infernal Affairs. And Infernal Affairs is a fantastic movie. It's really exciting and fun to watch, so it's hard to top, but they did it, and they did it so well because they got a great director, they got a brilliant cast with Matt Damon and Leo DiCaprio, and Jack Nicholson played such a great villain. They updated the time and the place to be Boston, and this was a return to form, a return to gangster form for Martin Scorsese. It's a great film that stands apart from the remake. So if you watch the remake, it's great. If you watch the original, it's great. If you watch the remake of The Departed, then it's also great. They're very different though, different vibes. So that's why I think The Departed did really well to make an American remake that was actually good and also felt like something original and fresh.
Roger, what's your pick?
My pick would be David Fincher's version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Wow. The reactions of the panel here do not favor that choice, but let's hear it quickly. Go ahead.
I love
yes.
it when the panel is against me. It happens so often. This is a beautiful film. It is absolutely incredible. Right from the get-go, the opening credits, you have this, it's like you're in Rooney Mara's head. With this beautiful nightmarish visuals of all the black syrup just like being poured all over the characters. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. They've updated this movie from what was I love the original the original versions. Believe me, I do. But they were very much more raw and not as polished or anything. But David Fincher's directing style combined with Trent Reznor's incredible soundtrack for this. That they used all these organic wooden instruments and combined them with electronics, made the movie way more chilling. The casting could not have been more perfect. Rooney Mara absolutely transformed herself for this role. She actually not only did she shave her head and do all this, she bleached her eyebrows. She got piercings all over her, including piercing her nipples, just to get into character for this role. And that is the kind of investment I love to see someone do if they're going to take on.
You just love pierced nipples.
You don't think Tom Arnold pierces nipples in True Lies?
I believe it. I think he did that before True Lies, though.
Thoughts on the other two people's selections here? Nick will start us.
Yeah, it's my round. My film is the only one that is actually better than the original film.
I think we're talking about best remake in general.
We're not
comparing.
And I was even
the best
told
American remake of a foreign language film.
Yeah, no, and I'm saying my film is actually superior to the original, whereas yours, I would rather watch
That
the
wasn't
original.
the question.
I know, but I'm just saying it's
It's his argument, but go ahead.
I
Whether
think
it's right or wrong, keep going quickly.
And I think it's also the best out of all of these movies. It's the most fun. It's the most action-packed. The part is almost like a parody of a Scorsese movie, where Jack Nicholson's accent and the part at the end where they just keep, spoiler alert, killing each other. It was kind of hilarious how like silly that movie got. Like it just went off the entire rails.
You're talking about True Lies. That is about as silly as it gets.
True Lies
come on.
True Lies was genuine in it. I feel like Scorsese was sorry, parody. And I'm sorry. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo killed that franchise for an American remake. It's not good. The first one was better. It's not that hard to compare.
Fincher absolutely wants to make another one. Rooney Mara wants to make
Sony
another
doesn't.
one. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
They can't make another one.
All right, Alicia, why do you
Okay,
feel
go
like
ahead.
we'll get to you? Why? How was yours better than the other two?
Mine is the better film, the best film of the three. It's a tense cat and mouse game. It is fun to watch. At the same time, it's well written and has a great cast. It's not silly. I didn't see it as silly. I thought it was brilliant, and it's an Oscar-winning film. Plus, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Swedish versions are much better.
Okay, all right. Neither of you,
It's the same thing.
all you two guys, I'm just pointing this out. Both of you guys have just said The Girl with Dragon 2 is a bad movie, but you have not given me one reason why.
Because it's
Tell me
exactly
what's
the
bad.
same as the Swedish version.
I think he also said that the fact that Sony won't make another one
That's
but
that's
is
not.
a reason, whether it's right or wrong.
Plus,
But go ahead.
it's the same. I mean, I love David Fincher. You can see he
Yes.
is actually my favorite director. But I was disappointed by this film because I saw the Swedish versions first, and then this was exactly the same, but not as good. And I like Rooney Mara, but Noomi Rapace, she kicked
She
ass.
was awesome.
I watched
She was
this-
awesome,
I
but
watched-
Rooney Mara took it to another level.
But the thing
Absolutely.
is,
I watched the
Departed
Fincher
is a different
version.
remake.
I watched the Fincher version, and I was like,
Have you seen the sweet?
yeah, I watched the Fincher version first, and I was like, okay, that was a movie.
But
And then
why?
I watched.
But why?
It was just boring and kind of like
how is
stilted
this-
performances. It was like watching a British play. And then when I watched the original, I was like, okay, this isn't the movie I would always watch, but I got why people love this movie. And then I watched the other ones.
I think it's because it's such a dark movie. That's why you're off put by it. But I'm still not hearing reasons from you, like why it's such a bad movie. You're just saying, all right, this is a movie. That's not any actual
It
debate.
was
That's
bad.
not-
The acting sucked. Fincher was
The
so
acting
obsessed.
did not
Fincher
suck,
was
no.
giving so many jerk off shots. Just
You're
worried about
saying-
composition than actually.
Oh, it's composition. You're saying good. Okay,
Okay.
great. Dan, go ahead. What were we gonna say? Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'll just on
you're
my
talking
thing-
about True Lies and you're talking about
Yes.
jerk off shots. Come on.
No, True
All right,
Lies
Look,
is-
Lisbeth goes through some incredibly tough things. There's a lot
look,
going on in
for,
this movie.
For time's sake, I think they both crushed you on that because I think
All right,
between
well.
them and the audiences and the studio,
Okay, well.
it sadly was not seen as a great film. I think it's fine, but I think they both have made a very clear and strong argument that I don't disagree with that.
right, well, I'm out,
The remakes are fine. So for the sake of this, we're fighting True Lies versus Departed, and I could let you have the time, but I think Alicia kind of killed it, and Departed is the best film based on the awards, the accolade, the Scorseseism, everything over the fun, very fun True Lies. So Alicia gets the point. Good job. Now it makes us Nick with 3, Roger 2, Alicia 2. So Roger and Alicia, if one of you wins this round 7, cue round 7. If one of you wins this, you will go into the speed round against Nick. If you don't,
I will go
we
get
will do
a
a
slice.
tiebreaker.
I will go take.
All right, so the honest trailer this week is one of last year's most talked about movies. A polarizing film, I'd say. Audiences either loved or hated it. And it featured an uncredited cameo from a major star midway through. We won't spoil what it is or what we're talking about. But that's a tease. That's all the tease you're getting this week. So that in addition to the Entourage trailer, which listed a ton of cameos in their movie, that brought up the question that Adam Roz on Twitter asked, what's the best movie cameo in all movies? And Alicia, we're starting with you.
It's a good question.
Best movie cameo has to be Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder as Les Grossman. This happened in 2008, and at that time, people didn't really like Tom Cruise. He did that crazy Oprah jumping couch thing in 2005.
He loved the woman.
He was really intense about Scientology. I'm not saying that their opinion on him was right, but I'm saying that people were sick of him. People didn't believe that he could do anything fun and exciting until you saw him as Les Grossman, and it showed that he could let loose. I mean, he is in a fat suit. He's dancing to Ludacris. He is like this Harvey Weinstein type spoof of a studio exec, and so many F words and curse words being thrown out there. It was nothing that you ever expected Tom Cruise could do. And when you saw it, it was so much fun. So I think because it's completely unexpected and it helped to turn the tide on public opinion on him, that's why Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder is the best movie cameo.
Roger, what's your pick?
I would have to go with Bill Murray in Zombieland. This is, I guess I can't say it on the show, but Bill effing Murray, that has basically become a meme at this point. That is the one thing people remember from Zombieland more than anything. Woody Harrelson and Tallahassee, I should say, they show up at Bill Murray's house after the zombie apocalypse when they think everyone is dead. But who is one of the few people left alive in the world? It's Bill effing Murray. And I mean, honestly, that's one of the few people I wish would be alive in the world if something like that happened. He's such a fun guy, and he gives us so much in this cameo. It's not just like a little, oh, hi, I'm Bill Murray, and walks off the screen or something. He's dressed as a zombie, and we learn this funny story about him. He's dressed as a zombie so he can go play golf, and that seems like something that Bill Murray would actually do in real life if there was a zombie apocalypse. And he also has fun with Ghostbusters. We've all wanted to see like more Ghostbusters with Bill Murray, but he never actually signed on to do a third movie because obviously there weren't any good scripts or anything, and he thought it might be a cash hog or something. But he does a Ghostbusters vacuum scene with them, and we absolutely love it. It's like him having fun with the fans like he would in real life. This is a guy who shows up at random parties all around the world, just randomly, just for the fun of it, because he's a normal guy.
Two great cameos. Nick, what's your third?
Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore. This is a scene that came out of nowhere. Bob Barker was the Price is Right guy. No one thought this would ever happen. And then the next thing you know, he kicks the shit out of Adam Sandler for 6-7 minutes. And this not only redefined who Bob Barker is. When he retired in Price is Right, they showed the entire thing. This made his career. But it also made Adam Sandler's career. And we know that went to shit for the last 10 years. But for 10 years, this is the movie, this is the scene that made Adam Sandler, that gave us some pretty damn great comedies up until about 2004. And while your cameo is great, and I actually don't think yours was a cameo, I think it was just a part in a movie, because he was in it for like 35 minutes. This cameo not redefined one career and then created another. And I think that's why it's the most important cameo, the best cameo out of the three.
I would say that I saw Happy Gilmore when I was young in Australia, and I had no idea who he was.
Then you did afterwards. You did afterwards.
I had no idea.
That's not your fault.
Well, we don't get
Yeah,
Prices
exactly.
Right.
Oh,
We have
that-
our own Prices Right host in Australia, so I
Who
think
wasn't
it
in
was,
the movie.
He wasn't in the movie, so I think that cameo wasn't unexpected. It wasn't a surprise to international audiences who didn't know that person.
But yeah, I mean, part of my argument was that Tom Cruise's role in that movie, I mean, he's in it throughout. They're constantly calling him back and stuff because, he's like the
That's a great
executive
part
producer.
in a movie.
Exactly.
That's
It's
not
a
a cameo.
Semantics here. Dan, are we
call it a
calling,
cameo.
are we defining that role as a cameo?
They call it cameo.
We discussed it, and we decided to include it as a cameo because we thought that the basic surprise of a cameo is someone that you didn't expect to be in the movie.
Unbilled.
Who shows up in
All right,
a
fair
movie.
enough.
And we felt that
So
Tom
that
He was in the
debate is out.
trailers. He was
So
in the
I'm gonna-
trailers.
Let's
enough.
wipe that
Okay.
out.
That's fine.
For her sake and everybody,
Fair enough.
we call it is a cameo. So aside from that, let's hear what else you have to say.
Okay. The other thing I love about Bill Murray's cameo is that they end it. They don't have to drag it out or anything like that. They have him get shot because he was playing a prank on somebody, which again is something I could totally see happening. But his death is even hilarious. Emma Stone, she cracks up as he's breathing and she just bursts out into laughter, and she's like, "He just gets me every time," and it's true. That's what he does.
Here's what, because we actually are tight on time today. Sadly, I apologize. Everyone hates when I try and rush this along, but I'm going to help us speed this around. I'm going to rule two people here who I think are continuing on this fight. Sadly, it's not Bob Barker. I think these two were stronger surprise cameos that made a bigger impact. Bob Barker was funny. So Nick, you're out. We're focusing on these two. I want to have one last fight. If you'd like to chime in, you're allowed. Because you will help define that if you decide to pick one, but that's sort of unfair, so I'm not actually
No, I'm not
going
gonna
to
do that. I won't do that.
So
I was hoping we'd have a three-way battle.
I'd love to hear quickly why yours was more, iconic, what made it the best movie cameo, obviously versus the other quickly, and go ahead, Alicia, you can start.
We just said we're defining a cameo by surprise. And there was nothing more surprising than seeing Tom Cruise in this role. Bill Murray, he was great. I love that part of Zombieland, but it's Bill Murray. It's what we expect from Bill Murray. It's what we know of Bill Murray. It's what I like of Bill Murray. I would never have thought Tom Cruise would have done half the stuff he did in Tropic Thunder.
Roger, final thought?
I never expected to see Bill Murray pop up in a zombie movie, get shot, and then do a during his death, he actually...
Not being very subtle over there, Nick.
No, both are great. No, but that was both are great.
During his death, he's even self-deprecating. When they ask him, "Do you have any regrets?" He says Garfield maybe, and I love it. That killed me, and that killed everybody. And if you stay after the credits, he even says "Au revoir, Gopher," a little nod to one of his older films. It's perfect. It's everything we've ever loved about Bill Murray, popping up out of nowhere in this crazy zombie movie, and it just ends perfectly.
Those are both hard.
I
don't envy you
This
because
is
those
probably
are
one of
great
the hardest
arguments.
ones of the show. I will be fair because it also defines who's going the speed round. So I'm taking this very seriously. Based on the arguments is what I'm doing because you both did a great job. I think someone just had one last line there that sold me a little harder than the other, where it was he was Bill Murray. Whereas I think there was something about Tom Cruise that was so unexpected. You're like, he's saying the F word over and over again and doing apple bottom jeans. Like, you would have never. And I remember people in the audience were like, that's Tom Cruise. What? They were. So, as much as I love them both, I'm going to give it to Alicia. Just barely off of her last thing. I was very strong.
That was fantastic.
really hard.
That was really tough.
That was really hard.
That
This
was a
whole
really
thing's
hard
been
one.
really
It's
hard.
been
Roger,
really hard.
kudos. High five. You
Thank you.
were fantastic. I'm
thought
sorry.
you were
Very
just yelling,
close.
but no.
That
Dan-
puts Alicia and Nick with 3 points each into our speed round. We're going to get right to it. Are you guys nervous?
Dan, for
Yes.
what it's worth, I still want to battle you, not even for the belt, just in a regular.
It's gonna
show.
happen. After
Yeah.
our championship,
gotta do
we
it.
will
We
make
gotta
some
do it.
fights where Dan can fight some more because
That would be fun.
Dan's on that couch too much.
Yep, I agree.
So, speed round. You guys understand again how this works?
Yes.
I'm gonna ask a question. First answer, if you both say the same thing, is what will end up winning. If you both say different answers, you will have a moment to defend your answer. Everyone follow? Any questions before we do this? And you're not allowed, no pulling a Hal Rudnick, as they call it now, where you're unclear after it's been happening.
No,
Okay.
that's mean.
Sorry.
Just mean.
Okay. These two movies are both playing at the same time on cable. Which do you watch? The RoboCop remake or the Psycho remake?
RoboCop.
I heard Alicia first. Alicia gets the point. Whoo! This is
buzzers.
I know we should get buzzers. Don't tell us, because then they're gonna yell at us that we don't have buzzers.
Should have buzzers.
We should have buzzers. Yeah.
Worst villain: Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, or Jamie Foxx's Electro?
Mr. Freeze.
Jamie Foxx, Electra.
Let's hear why Mr. Freeze.
Okay, Mr. Freeze was so laughable. I never once bought him as a villain. His one-liners were ridiculous, and he made that movie, which was really bad, even worse. Whereas Electro, I didn't mind him. I liked the Jamie Foxx character, the dichotomy of the two. He's a great actor.
Jamie Foxx was so terrible in that movie, it wasn't fun. At least Mr. Freeze was fun. Those puns were fun. You could, out of that train wreck of a Batman and Robin movie, you can at least be like, well, Arnold Schwarzenegger was having the most fun in the world. I would rather much watch Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Nick, I'm gonna give you the point based on that argument. He was fun. We
Yeah.
still take him to the cooler. We still do it
Chill
now.
out.
Chill out.
Nerdface
Wow.
was not great in
All
that
right,
movie.
we're still tied. Discounting the movies. Who would win in a fight? Alien or Predator?
Predator. Predator. Beep!
Quickly.
Beep!
You gotta answer.
You gotta answer.
Alien.
Okay, she's answering Alien. Nick, why Predator?
Predator is the ultimate hunter. He has defeated any enemy that stood in his way. He can kill anything. He is the universe's ultimate champion. He could kill anything, kill Jedis. He could kill Alien. Alien's just a bug. Alien is just a bug. Predator's a warrior. He is a warrior man.
Alicia?
Oh,
She agrees with me.
Alien is. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna suck.
Alicia loses.
Yeah. I was gonna say Predator too.
Two. Gotta be confident. Gotta be confident in the answers. Nick won in the
Alien
confidence.
cuts
I have
himself
peed myself.
clean
I have
on the
completely
Predator.
peed myself.
I suck.
Ready. Number 3. Or 4, I'm sorry. That was 3. Wow. So this is, number 4. Best movie with Jack Black in it.
High Fidelity.
Are you allowed to answer before? Oh.
Best
sorry,
movie
I
with
thought- I
Jack
thought it was
Black
like-
in it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going this or that.
That's the question. Quickly.
Bernie.
High Fidelity versus Bernie. Go ahead, Nick.
High Fidelity, it was the introduction to Jack Black, what we all loved about him. It was a great movie about relationships, music, going into your 20s. It's just a beautiful, wonderful, hilarious film. It's one of the most underrated, hilarious films of the 2000s.
Bernie showed that Jack Black could really act. He has dramatic acting chops. I was interested in the character. It was really charismatic character, even though he was so creepy and he was doing something I'd never seen him do before. That's why I choose Bernie.
I need a little bit more assistance, and I need your last one quick line each on why the other movie wasn't better. Nick, quickly.
Bernie was pretty boring.
Bernie was a really interesting character study, whereas High Fidelity was fun, but I'd seen Jack Black doing that before. I wasn't that excited.
At least you got it based on that argument point at the end.
I would have
This
said
is tough.
Nacho Libre
This
for the
is
record.
tough.
Sorry, I was
This
waiting
is
for like
tough.
a this or that.
Stretch it.
Okay,
Thanks.
this is it. The winner of this speed round wins.
Wow.
God.
Best Hollywood James.
Gandolfini.
James Woods.
Why Gandolfini?
James Gandolfini made he created he was part of one of the best shows ever. He gave family to the mobster. You saw his sensitivity to it. He's a great actor. His whole body of work is awesome, and he made chubby dudes hot. So James Gandolfini is the best James of all cinema history.
I thought
Alicia.
of James Woods because I was just rewatching Videodrome and I was remembering just how awesome he's had, what a career he's had where he's played so many different characters. He's had such a long career and he's done such different things that I think he's such a great actor and a really underrated actor. Videodrome is awesome.
I need one more because this is for the belt fight. I need one more sentence and it needs to knock the other one down. Alicia, this time starting. Go ahead.
Okay, I feel mean saying this, but I feel like James Gandolfini does the same thing in all his roles. He was the one guy from The Sopranos, and Woods has had a long and very varied career.
James Woods has done only James Woods stuff. Gandolfini has just pushed the boundaries of anything. And James Gandolfini has that one piece of acting with The Sopranos that defined his career. What has James Woods done that defined his career besides Videodrome?
I love Videodrome.
Wow.
It's a tough one.
Why couldn't someone have just said James Dean?
Yeah.
It would have been so easy.
Well, the music stopped. It's that dramatic.
Videodrome. That's
Wow. We are out of time, and I got to make a winner based on those arguments. I think someone said that one role defined him so strong that it's James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano, and I think Nick pulled it just barely.
So close.
That was so tough. That was really tough.
I got a kiss.
I got a bit. Wow, that was exciting. All right, Nick pulled through.
He did.
I didn't think he was gonna. He did it.
Really tough.
So it's Nick and Spencer against you, Dan. Our next episode. And it's not next
All right,
week.
he's
for a little
humping-
housekeeping.
he's
Please
humping a
don't cut to
chair.
that angle.
Yeah.
I'm excited to announce that next week we will have some fans in the audience watching a special episode. It's going to be very special guests fighting in the round. But we've, as you know, we had a call out to fans at home who'd want to come watch an episode. That's going to be next week, and I'm happy to announce a lot of you submitted. We're so grateful that you submitted, but I'm happy to announce the winners. Here they are. Mika from Hoboken, New Jersey. You're coming to the show on the couch.
Represent.
Brian Chambers from Niagara Falls, New York. You're coming to the couch.
Niagara Falls,
Woo!
represent.
And Mr. Anthony Tony Tubes from Redfield, South Dakota.
Redfield,
You are
represent.
coming to the couch. We're flying all three of these fans down. We are so excited to have them. We are so grateful to all of you. I'm sorry, we wanted to bring you all down. So there's so many amazing tapes that we got. So thank you, everybody, for submitting. Please, thank you. Keep all the support coming. But for Mika, Brian, and Anthony, we are so excited to have you on the show next week to watch. I'm sure you'll do something slight or be involved, but we're very happy to have you here. It's going to be a very fun show. So thank you very much. I want to thank our panelists also. Alicia Malone. Give us your Twitter at Alicia Malone, correct?
Yeah, don't send me hate mail, please.
Oh, why would you do
These
that?
people are
Send them
amazing.
email.
This is the hardest one I've ever done.
I tried.
These people deserve
They're going to
it.
send me the hate mail, I'm sure, for not ruling you at the end. But Alicia Malone, thank you so much. You are
Thank
welcome
you.
back anytime. You
Thanks
were fantastic.
so much. I love doing this.
Roger Barr at iMockery at iMockery.com. Anything else you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at IMOCKERY. Come follow me on there. Talk to me. I love hearing from you guys. Hashtag Otisberg. And for any of you who are conspiracy theorists about this show, notice that everyone who already had an icon in the bracket and is a Screen Junkies employee is now in the finals.
It's like the NCAA.
I'm starting
It's-
up shit on
Someone's a
I'm
sore loser.
I'm starting up shit on YouTube.
Someone's a sore
It's
loser.
bracketology. It's bracketology, friend.
Alicia's being grateful. And Nick Mundy at Dick Mundy on Twitter.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are amazing. You guys
are
deserve
great.
it. I mean, you should be here too. Check out this week's Screen Junkie. Check out next week's Screen Junkies.
WWF.
This
Yeah.
week's Screen this week's Screen Junkies, WWE, and
I hang out The Rock next week.
this week.
And then
The Rock.
April 13th, my Comedy Central show comes out on ComedyCentral.com. Check that out,
Jericho,
please.
right?
Yeah, return to Nothing to Report. My brain's gone. It's called Nothing to Report.
We'll make sure we tweet and tell you about that coming up. Thank you, everybody. On Dan Kim at Murrell. Dan, Mr. Dan Murrell, anything you'd like to send? Our
You
viewers?
thought Marvel Civil War was intense. You wait for Screen Junkie Civil War in 2
Oh,
weeks.
snap.
I'm taking you down.
He spent all day
Thinking that up.
Hey, Dan, I already laid the groundwork. I destroyed Fast and the Furious today, so that's my victory.
And The Rock.
Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Andy Signore. I love hearing from you guys and telling me when I'm right or wrong and what do you want to see on the show. We can't do it without you guys, so thank you much. That's it. We will see you next week with our special show, and then in 2 weeks, the belt is on the line. Mr. Murrell,
gonna be
start
intense.
training. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Every podcast we put on YouTube comes with this kick-ass graphic listing all the topics your favorite Screen Junkies podcasters are talking about. If you click the topics, you can skip around and choose your own podcast battle royale. Go ahead, try them all. If you haven't already, subscribe to Screen Junkies on YouTube to join us for future fights. Or if you prefer to listen on iTunes, click the logo to download an audio version.